Hi, Jamie. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you, Stefan?
Yeah, really good. Thanks. I enjoyed the movie.
Good.
You got to love a character like this. I mean, you're the guy. He's good, he's bad. Sometimes he's nice. Sometimes he's a bit of a wanker. He covers all bases and gives you a lot to work with. Must be a joy to play characters like this.
Yeah, typecast again. As usual. No. I think. Listen, I was just saying to somebody else then, like I feel incredibly blessed and incredibly grateful that I get to play someone like Bernie Taupin in the Rocket Man and Elton John biopic, and then go and do something like this, which is just so worlds apart, But certainly in a Clancy film, being one of the characters that is part of one of these institutions, these governmental institutions, who, their morality is always ambiguous. Whether you can trust them is always in question. What their intentions are always unclear. To me, like those are, and when I experience these films, and I grew up on these movies as well, those are always the ones to me that really kind of come alive, and getting a chance to do it was a thrill. I only had one note on this movie from my director, which was just like, I never really want to know what you're thinking, and I never want to know who you are and what you stand for. And I think those characters, hopefully, it's always a measure of how successful you are at that, make people kind of lean in more to the story and lean in more to your character.
Do you have to always know what they're thinking and know what they stand for? Or can you also have that kind of disconnect with a character?
Well, I think it's interesting, right? Because I think in some movies, I think you always kind of, to understand and to kind of root for your protagonists, at least, I think understanding their want and need for the film kind of has to be pretty loudly stated. And I think in this movie, it is very loudly stated. It's kind of it's almost like a throwback trope, this idea of like everything is taken from him, his body is broken, he needs to learn to walk again, and then he's just out on a mission. And the mission is less about like, I'm going to destroy people. It's more like, how far do I have to go to feel something again? Which is the way I always thought about the John Kelly character. So I think, but I think with like, I wouldn't say periphery characters, but with characters who are supporting that character, I think that a little bit more mystery helps the audience's experience, because you have to be questioning something throughout the film.
Yeah, I remember I interviewed you for 6 days, and we spoke in length about your kind of training for that and getting the kind of nuances right of special ops, movement and stuff like that. But of course, now you play another professional here that's kind of in that field. I was wondering how much you draw on old training for old roles, because I guess you must develop such a strong skill set across the years, playing such a variety of different characters.
Yeah, I think it does become kind of like less daunting. I mean, the stuff for the 6 days training, they really put us through it. I mean, like, they really wanted to make us experience as close as they possibly could a live mission. And it was unbelievable. I mean, like I couldn't believe the lengths that they were going to, and how they would just try and give us that experience as much as they can. But for this, you fall in line with your military advisor. He's called Jim Deaver. I've worked with him before. Fantastic guy. Takes it very seriously. Loves movies. But it's weirdly kind of like dancing, right? If you haven't done it for a while, you kind of go like, oh yeah, I kind of know what this is. I kind of remember, like your body kind of gets to this this muscle memory kind of thing. And the thing is, the one thing that always happens to you is you always rush things. And what they always say to you is like, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And like, that's always one thing that you have to remember, like to make sure that your actions are kind of too jarring, that there's a fluidity to it. So you're always kind of, you feel like you are in control of your movement,
My final question is, of course, you've worked with Michael before, and he's a fantastic actor and I'm sure a great collaborator. He's also directing soon. He's at the helm of the next Creed movie. I just wondered if that's anything you've given much thought to, if you've ever kind of considered maybe doing stuff kind of behind the lens one day.
Oh, yeah, no, of course. I work with a friend of mine, Max Minghella. He's my kind of writing and producing partner, and we do things together. And we have a couple of things that we're working on now and have done in the past. So the creation of content, creation of stories and all that stuff is something I'm very much invested in and involved in. Directing is like, it's such a leap. It's such a huge step off a ledge kind of thing, but it's just, of course, it's something that I'm interested in doing and interested in pursuing. I'm not sure if now is the right time particularly, but of course I remain interested in it. forever. Even just in terms of like making stuff, like I still have that excitement of like every time I enter a set, I'm always like, what are we going to do today? You know, that will never leave.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, in the meantime, just keep choosing these great roles, because you seem to have a great hit record for just picking good parts and good movies.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Cool. Cheers, Jamie. Have a nice
Good to see you, man. You take care. Stay safe.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!